Hello teachers. In this video, we are going to talk about creative writing time in Primary 1, Terms 1 and 2. Creative writing time is scheduled every day immediately after story reading time. Creative writing time uses a top-down approach to teaching children writing. This means that we start with a focus on pupils writing their own meaningful stories. In the beginning, pupils will mainly use pictures. As the year progresses, we encourage pupils to include words more and more as they write. By the end of Term 3, they will begin to form their own sentences. Notice how JB is able to very quickly distribute all the slates to his pupils.
We have shortened the issue of distributing material to the learners, one, by giving slates to every individual child, and they are keeping it under the desk. That one can make work easy.
Once the slates are distributed, the teacher asks the pupils to read the keyword aloud. Then he asks them to copy the keyword and key picture on their slates. Often, the teacher encourages pupils to write about experiences from their own lives.
In bringing these people's creativity, we have been directing them to write their own, not whatever the teacher has put in place. We ask them, because when we talk, for the example, the keyword of the week like this one, Doha, we will ask them, what do you do especially when you go to the shop? So these learners will take courage to mention or to write exactly what they go and do in the shop, or what they see people doing in the shop. That's why learners here come out with different ideas on the keyword of the week.
The teacher also tries to link the week's theme and sub-theme to the writing exercise. This week's theme is our community, and the sub-theme is activities in our community. We try to select keywords that give pupils an opportunity to explore the theme using their own experiences. As the pupils write their stories, JB is busy moving around the room, asking pupils questions about their writing and encouraging pupils who need help. During this phase of the lesson, the teacher can get out the continuous assessment monitoring form and begin checking off pupils who are demonstrating the writing competences for the term. Here you can see JB using the continuous assessment monitoring form during the lesson.
During the lesson, when pupils are drawing the pictures of the keyword on the keyword, now it is the responsibility of the teacher to move around, see how pupils are working onto the guide. So any slow learner who is not at catching very fast, then it is the work of the teacher at least to ask what do you intend to put into your slate? Pinen cheka wuti ba kita wuti cha choyo kiri cheka mere ngare chela choyo cheka mere kene ukao chachi bacha ne chachi bacha ene ka chachi bacha saka yik ba pale chachi no ketia be yin ko ni ti beda ping beda ping no del chama koma be chiko ni koma ne kan ko ni ka bi ya wodi ko chiko ni Jan Roska ni wot ko wa ko ko cheko ba imuti cheko ni da te ko pidwana winyere wana ko cheko ni chake molo kaine
With about 10 minutes remaining in the lesson, the teacher asks the pupils to write their names at the bottom of their slates and then put down their chalk.
Me te go cheka chill. Cái go chỉ không phải chill cho nhí tè này cho nhí tè này anh đi vào cái này anh go chỉ có miếng co cho nhí tè này. Generally in the class very few are doing repetition, but many of them are bringing up new stories every day. So example, when we talk about Doha, for example, we can ask them draw today. A child should draw his picture with the father going to the shop. So when it comes tomorrow, we don't ask them to do the same work they have done yesterday. Like for instance, drawing the picture going with the father to the shop. We can ask for other things which can happen in the shop.
It's now time for about 5 pupils to come up to the front of the class and read the story they have written to the whole class. This is an opportunity for the teacher to assess individual pupils' speaking competence. Pupils need a lot of support from the teacher in term 1. Notice how the pupils hold their slates. We encourage pupils to read their stories. This means they need to look at the words and pictures they have written and interpret them for the class. Getting up in front of the class and reading your own story isn't easy, so the teacher is always there to support the child. As the child is reading his story to the class, the teacher is thinking about several questions. How is the child speaking? Is his voice loud enough? Does he speak with confidence and fluency? Does his story show creativity? Is the story meaningful, and does it relate to the keyword and theme for the week? Is the story well sequenced? At the same time, the teacher needs to be attentive to the rest of the class and asking another set of questions. Which pupils are listening closely to the story? Which pupils are habitually not able to pay attention when other pupils read?
We have been speaking to them that whenever you come forward here to deliver the message on what you have drawn, this one will develop confidence in you, such that when in future you grow, you will become active speaker like me. I give examples on me.
After the child has read his story to the class, the teacher should try to ask a question or make a comment about the child's story. Sometimes the teacher should also encourage the learners to make comments and ask questions about the story. We want every child to practice reading their story aloud every day. So, the final step in our creative writing time lesson is to have pupils read their stories in pairs or small groups. So let's review the 5 steps of creative writing time. Distribute the slates and chalk. Write the keyword and picture. Write an individual story. Read stories to the whole class. Read stories in small groups. Creative writing time is taught every day. During term 1 and 2, pupils use the slate most of the time. The slates are good for early handwriting practice, and they allow the pupils to share their stories easily with the whole class. Many teachers have pupils use their exercise books on Friday so that they can collect them and assess pupils' progress in story writing on a weekly basis. Now let's take a look at the major competencies that we expect pupils to master during creative writing times in terms 1 and 2. Pupils will be able to use the correct sitting posture and handle the writing instrument properly. Use pictures and words to write a meaningful story about the keyword. Read or tell their story to others in a way that demonstrates creativity, sequencing, and free expression. Think about the creative writing time lessons you have observed. Can you identify the point in each lesson when the teacher is able to have individual pupils demonstrate one or more of these competencies? I am going to request that you facilitator pause this video now while you discuss this as a group. Did you identify the parts of the lesson when the teacher is asking individual pupils to demonstrate a competence? Let's review clips from the video and see if your answers match with what we have seen. 1. Using the correct sitting posture and handling the writing instrument properly. 2. Using pictures and words to write a meaningful story about the keyword. 3. Reading their own story in a way that demonstrates creativity, sequencing, and free expression. Either during the lesson or soon after, Michael and JB can go to their continuous assessment monitoring form and mark the pupils who demonstrated these competencies accordingly. It may seem at first that pupils' progress is slow, but as the year progresses and pupils gain experience, pupils' stories improve. JB can tell you more about how he views his pupils' progress during creative writing time.
In term 1 creative writing, we ask learners to draw the picture of the keyword. After drawing, they draw their own story. After drawing, they write only the first name which they write during term 1. That is according to term 1. But term 2 is a bit different because we ask learners to draw the picture of the keyword. After drawing, they write their own story, which normally they use the pictures to write their story. After writing, they level. They begin leveling. That is a difference which is there. They begin leveling from week 6 to week 12. After drawing their story, they level it. And down the slate, they write their full name, the first name and the second name.